Hello again, Seward County Community College. I want to thank you again for allowing me to interview with you. We are in Clay County, Arkansas, and we're going to talk a little bit about soils, in particular how it relates to sustainable agriculture. Of course, in the background is cotton. We did have a rough year this year due to low moisture, so cotton's a little shorter than usual, but there are sustainability issues in cotton. Cotton, of course, is a perennial crop which is treated as an annual. It is actually a shrub. Its fiber is almost all cellulose, and almost 3% of the world's arable land is in cotton production. Two issues with cotton I want to talk about briefly are GMO and pesticide usage. So most of the GMO cotton, we think of it in two ways. One is Roundup Ready or glyphosate resistant cotton. We'll leave that for another time, but I like to talk about GMO cotton right now, and that's the BT or Bacillus thuringiensis gene. It is good against moths, butterflies, flies, and other insects. It's not quite as good for insects such as aphids, plant bugs, stink bugs, and a few other ones. So the point there being, cotton does need a lot of inputs, a lot of pesticide inputs. In particular with early season, we're looking at herbicides, pre-plant incorporate herbicides such as Treflan. And in those scenarios, we're looking to get small-seeded grasses and small-seeded broadleaves out of the crop early. Roundup Ready. The Roundup, of course, is not a pre-plant herbicide. It comes on later in the season. And with Palmer amaranth in this part of the country becoming a greater problem, more inputs are needed in cotton than they were just 10 years ago. So that is a sustainable agriculture issue due to the fact that water usage, runoff, and erosion of pesticides can get into water bodies, especially here in Arkansas, but of course everywhere in the United States. Cotton also has had a historical usage of arsenical herbicides and other herbicides. So again, cotton is one of the most intensive crops with regards to pesticide and fertilizer inputs. And when these inputs are put on the field, such as behind me, and right now this field is being irrigated as I speak, the water, the runoff, and even at times wind erosion can carry these soil particles to either water ditches, water bodies that can create ecotoxicological problems that sustainable agriculture needs to deal with. On one front, we need to protect the waters for aesthetic use, fishing, swimming, etc. But we also need to protect it for drinking water and waters that goes into our cities and communities. So two main indicators of soil health that relate to sustainable agriculture I like to talk about with. One is bulk density. Bulk density is the density of the soil, and we're looking at about 10 centimeters deep. A good bulk density is going to be about 1.4 grams per cubic centimeter or less. When we get around 1.6 grams per cubic centimeter, the soil is too dense for good root penetration and good root growth. Even water infiltration is limited. So one thing I did a couple days ago was I came out to the same field right behind me. We'll have a picture in just a moment. I took a couple soil samples at this field and another field which we won't visit. This field is in conventional tillage. The first field was in conservation tillage, actually no tillage with the cover crop. So we can kind of see some differences with the differences in bulk density, conventional tillage versus no tillage. And if I can get the cameraman to walk right behind me. We'll look at one sample I took here, and again conventional tillage, 10 centimeters deep. And I'll let the cameraman get back over the irrigation so she doesn't trip. So here at this field in conventional tillage, what you just saw, it was 1.55 grams per cubic centimeter. So it's a little bit on the high side. 1.6 grams per cubic centimeter would be at the point where growth would really be restrictive, but different management practices would help this field be more sustainable for the production of cotton, as well as a more judicious use of pesticides. At the field where no tillage was implemented, the bulk density was 1.39 grams per centimeter. These were based on an approximate 400 gram sample, dried down and put in ovens and of course weighed. The soil hammer was used with a 5 centimeter by 10 centimeter core. So sample 1 or field 1 here indicates, of course, high bulk density. It's going to be restrictive growth. The no-till field, the bulk density is in a good range. It's under 1.4. It's going to have good root penetration, good water infiltration, and actually support life more. The second thing I'd like to talk about quickly is a little bit on ecotoxicology, and that is how toxicants can affect our environment. And what I did with this short experiment 2 days ago was I took fields from both soils, both fields, and a control soil that was out of the field. So we have fields that have historically been treated with the fertilizers and herbicides and insecticides, and we look at do earthworms, Isiana fetata, do they prefer or avoid one soil or the other? So earthworms have a lot of sensors and indicators on them. They will stay away from toxicants as well as go to soils that are more advantageous for life in general. So I'll get the cameraman to come over here. This soil, from this side where it says treated, came from the field that we just saw. This was a control soil. This was a conventional tillage system. In the control soil we had 5 worms. The treated soil we had 0 worms. Thank you.